Transmission line equations and solutions. So in this lecture, we will be discussing about the transmission lines. So I'll be putting the lectures on Blackboard and then we will discuss it in the normal lecture hours with respect to your problems, queries. So if you know what are transmission lines, so transmission lines are basically used to carry the electricity from one point to another. Now, if we want to analyze the transmission line can be analyzed either by the solution of Maxwell equations or by the method of distributed circuit theory. The solution of Maxwell equations involves three space variables in addition to the time variable. So three space variables, we are saying x, y, z, and then we have a time variable, means how they change with respect to time. The distributed circuit method, however, involves only one space variable in addition to the time variable. In this section, the latter method is used to analyze a transmission line in terms of voltage, current, impedance, and power along the line. So the main thing which you need to remember here is that all our resistance, all our impedance, all our capacitance, they are basically defined as per unit length. Okay, so R is basically your resistance per unit length. This delta Z represent that, like we did in the reflection and refraction of your EM waves, that they are traveling in Z direction. We are again assuming that we have a resistance in Z direction, impedance in Z direction, and admittance in Z direction. So with respect to that, suppose I have to find out the resistance, then I will multiply with the basically the length of the resistance and multiplied by R, because R is defined as resistance per unit length. So if I have to find out the value of resistance, then it will be R into delta Z. In a similar way, value of your inductance will be L into delta Z. The admittance here, if I have a resistance in parallel form, then we denote it by G, and then it will be G into delta Z will be my admittance. If I have a capacitance, it will be C into delta Z, and the remaining is clear. Now, if I have to find voltage at a particular point, or the can say initial point, then it is defined as Vz comma t. So the instantaneous voltage applied here will be Vz comma t, and after traveling a distance delta Z along the transmission line, it will be Vz plus delta Z and t. Okay, in a similar way, the current will be Iz plus delta Z after traveling a distance delta Z, or you can say after passing through a transmission of length delta Z. So the parameters are expressed in their respective names per unit length, and the wave propagation is assumed in the positive Z direction. So as you know that by Kirchhoff's voltage law, the summation of the voltage drops across the current loop, central loop is given by, so we are applying across the central loop. So it will be V potential here, Iz comma t with respect to this. So we are just talking about using the central loop. We have, if we start from point A and we are going up to the point B, and we are considering the length of line as delta Z, then we have the starting point, the potential is Vzt at this point, then R delta Z into Izt, then plus L delta Z di by dt of Z comma t. So di by dt with respect to distance Z and time t. So now we came to this point. So the distance we traveled plus the change in potential. So the potential initial was Vzt. If I compare with this, and then rate of change of potential here will be d by dt or d by dz of distance we traveled, d by dz v z comma t into the actual distance we traveled. Now if we solve it, then this part will cancel with this part, and we take delta z common, or we can say we can divide by delta z, then we will be left with dv by dz, when this term is equals to ri plus l di by dt. Now again applying Kirchhoff's current law at point B. So we have a current coming into this direction. We have outgoing current as Ig and your current Ic here. So we have current IZT. So IZT will be equals to Vz plus delta Z G delta Z. So if we have this admittance here and we are applying according to this, so we consider that our line is equivalent. So whatever the admittance here is, the capacitance is the same as here. So we can say that Vz plus delta Z into G delta Z. So that will be your, due to this Ig, then we have Ic, which is equals to C delta Z dV by dt. If you remember that the potential across a capacitance is C, sorry, the current across the capacitance is C dV by dt. And this delta Z is coming due to, because the capacitance is defined in capacitance per unit length. This is your admittance of this resistance, or you can say this resistance, and this is also per unit length, so it will be G delta Z. The potential is V. So when we find the potential across your resistance, we say V equals to IR. But in this case, we are finding I. So I will be equals to V divided by R. So if we are using R, 1 upon R equals to G, means this G, then we can say it will be V into G. But my G is per unit length, so it will be G into delta Z. Now again, rearranging this part. So we have Vz comma T plus dV by dz into delta Z, then it will be equals to your G delta Z. So what we are doing is that we are considering that Z plus delta Z is basically Vz plus change in potential due to length delta Z. So we are breaking this into Vzt plus d by dz of V into delta Z due to the length change, which will bring the change. In a similar way, if you will do the same thing here, then it will be C delta Z d by dt is outside. You will use this part again here because we have to expand this Vz plus delta Z here. So it will be Vz comma T plus d by dz of Vzt into delta Z. Again applying that thing here, so it will be Izt. So you have to remember one thing, that we travel from this point to this point. So if the current here is I, let's say, and we travel the length equals to 2 meter, and there's a change of, let's say, 0.5 milliampere. So basically, we are defining here Iz plus delta Z comma T due to the time and due to the length, how much is the change in the current. So it will be Iz comma T plus d by dz of I into delta Z. Now if we rearrange this and omitting Z comma T terms, and we assume that delta Z is equals to 0, means a very small length, okay, or we can cancel delta Z from the equation if you want, because this will cancel with this, and then we can take delta Z common out of all the equations. Then we have minus di by dz equals to gv plus c dv by dt. So if we differentiate equation 2 with respect to z, sorry, it hang. If we differentiate equation this one with respect to z, then it will become dz square, d square v by dz square, and equation 3.1 with respect to t, and combining the result. So differentiating this with respect to t and differentiating it with respect to z, and we combine them, the final transmission line equation will be of this form: d2 v by dz square equals to rgv plus rc plus lg dv by dt plus lc d2v by dt square. In a similar way, if I differentiate 2 with respect to t now, so now we are differentiating it with respect to t and differentiating it with respect to z, then we will get d2i by dg square equals to rgi plus rc plus lg into di by dt plus lc d2i by dt square. So all these transmission lines equations are applicable to general transient solution. The voltage and current on the line are the function of both Z and T. So if we consider that the instantaneous line voltage and current are Vzt equals to real Vz e raised to the power j omega t and Izt equals to real Iz e raised to the power j omega t. Why we are using real here? Because we are using a complex airs. So when we are talking about voltage and current, we are interested in the real part of them only. The factors Vz and Iz are complex quantities of sinusoidal function of position Z on the line and are known as phasors. The phasors give the magnitude and phases of the sinusoidal function at each position of Z, and they can be expressed as this. So Vz will be equals to V plus e raised to the power minus sigma Z plus V minus. So plus will be in the positive direction, V minus is in the negative direction. Plus is basically, you will see in most of the time, it will be the positive going wave. And when the wave will reflect from somewhere, like we used in the boundary conditions, then we use V minus. So this is minus here. When it's a reflected wave, it will become positive. Similarly for current will be the same. The only difference is I plus and I minus are there. And sigma is propagation constant is equals to alpha plus j beta. Alpha is the attenuation constant in Napier's per unit length, and beta is phase constant in radians per unit length. Now, if we substitute j omega for d by dt in equations 3, 1, 2, all these equations, these all equation, if we substitute d by dt by your j omega, then we have, and we divide the equation by e raised to the power j omega t, then we will get these equations. So please try them yourself. If you are still not able to understand, ask me. I'll answer this in the discussion lecture. Now, in which the substitutions have been made, we have Z will be equals to R plus j omega L. Y is your admittance. It will be G plus j omega C, and gamma is propagation constant will be equals to root of jy. It will be equals to alpha plus j beta is your propagation constant. Now for a lossless line, remember, if there is a lossless line, it means that your resistance is equals to 0. Resistance are basically the reason of your losses in the transmission line. And the transmission line then will be expressed as minus j omega L I. So Z will be here. So it's R plus j omega L. So R will be 0. So we can say dV by dz will be equals to minus j omega L I. Y, G is 0. So it will be minus j omega C V here. And for this one, sigma square. So your this part is 0. This part is 0. So we'll multiply these two parts. So it will be root of jy. So it will be j square omega square LC. So gamma square will be equals to minus omega square LC. So it will be minus omega square LC into V, and this will also be minus omega square LC into I. Now, if you want to find the solution of transmission line equations,